right, welcome to the Flow In, Flow Out podcast. My name is Sam Nang. I'm the host of the podcast, and I got a very special guest here. His name is Sam Laroue, basketball coach, yoga extraordinaire, and athlete, and social media influencer. Glad to have him on here, and he's really helped me out in the past in like my spiritual path, and that's why I wanted to bring him on here and kind of talk about like what we were doing before this podcast and kind of follow up. But I just brought him on the show because he's such a good dude. He gives back to the community, and just seeing his efforts. How I met Sam. I'll tell you guys a little bit about the story. Is Sam was married and I was married. We were both separated and got divorced. And he was posting some stuff on his social media. And it looked very similar to like what I was doing or like studying and working on. It was a lot of spiritual, kind of esoteric type of teachings, spiritual teachings and stuff. And I started commenting and I was like, yo, I like your stuff. And we literally just exchanged phone calls. I think we talked for an hour about like what the hell we were doing. And we were both like, yo, let's catch up. And I met up with Sam and he taught me some stuff that I've never even heard of. And it was like yoga, right? And I was like, yo, this blew me away. And that's why I wanted to bring him on here and just kind of like validate what the hell I did and experience and stuff. It's like a game-changing experience. But Sam, introduce yourself. Tell me a little bit about everybody at the Flow In, Flow Out podcast about what you're about, what you're doing, what's your why, what's your mission. Give us your story.
All right. Well, my name is Sam Laroue. I'm 38 years old.
Me too.
Me and actually Sam Nang met right here through my ex-wife Ashley at the wedding, but and things went the way they did. Now me and Sam are pretty much best friends now, so it's yeah.
The Sams.
I feel like Sam Nang is more of a positive influence anyway, so I'd rather have him around. As far as what I'm trying to do, I've been working with trying to like train kids in the community, especially basketball. I try to do Special Olympics type training with kids. Last year, I had a bunch of kids in Martinsburg that I was training for absolutely for free. Just so, basically, if the parents would message me and say they were having a struggle financially, I would tell them that the practice was free.
Yeah.
Other than that, I just play basketball and try to grow my my content as fast as possible, and that can be challenging at times.
So. It is challenging. I'm kind of working that that angle on my end with podcasting and having people come in, and part of the Flow In, Flow Out podcast is the honest truth is like nobody's really got social media figured out. Nobody's got online entrepreneurship figured out. Nobody's got personal development figured out or anything. So it's like, hey, we're having a discussion to see like what you're working on. And before we hopped on the podcast, I checked your Facebook. I was like, you have 5K, and you were just telling me a little bit about TikTok and stuff. I've done my best to really like get some traction on TikTok. I don't know why. All my attention has been focused on now like podcasting, Facebook, and like even LinkedIn as well too. But tell us a little bit about TikTok, how your strategy is going there, and I guess some of your future, and then we could get into that esoteric stuff that all the people want to hear. Okay.
All right. So with TikTok, started about a year ago. I started making videos on TikTok, and they would basically get no attention, right? No attention. I just kept on like pushing it, just doing trick shots and stuff like that most people wouldn't do. And eventually they caught on. I actually got on Twitter, because I have Twitter too. I was reposted by Mike Poisner. He's a musician. He sings.
Poisner, I know him. Yeah.
I was reposted by him, and I actually was commented on one of my videos by Joe Rogan. That was pretty cool. And I humble bragged about that, but I feel like in West Virginia, it's not really like people look at it differently than other places. But TikTok, basically what I did was just like try to make a whole bunch of videos and just keep posting. Some of them catch traction, some of them don't. What I found out on YouTube is shorts work best. If you
Hmm.
want to become a creator on YouTube, shorts are the best way. Like my videos on the YouTube side, we're probably getting like 100 views on the videos, but over 2 or 3 thousand on the shorts. So
Yeah.
shorts are the way to go. But you also have to be able to capture the attention of the audience for that whole. Shorts are like 10-second clips, and you got to.
Yeah.
And if you go on YouTube, you can watch the retention of the people. So how long they're watching the clips, and you really got to focus on how long they're watching because that's how long you want to make your clips.
Yeah. I attention is like it's currency right now, and for me, some of my strategies, podcasting is really just to set the authority that hey, personal development, fitness, wellness, well being, all that spiritual side with like the holistic approach. That's us. That's me right here. You know, Peak Performance Academy to set that authority. But everything else, like for me, for like Instagram, reels, I think reels and shorts and that is probably the biggest like attention impression getter for me. I could get something like 600, 700, a good one to get 2K, you know, but the consistency, I'm all about consistency. I know you're a basketball coach and everything, and consistency with your shots, consistency and repetition, and being able to do it like consistently. I think the success that I've seen with Instagram, I kind of how my marketing strategy is just like sectioning off things. I just strictly keep like face. Well, I've kind of intermingled things here and there to kind of like cross promote and everything, but it's categorized mainly for like bodybuilding and motivation. And the Instagram stories are for just like the day to day stuff, and the podcasting long format content, like deeper conversations that go deeper into like different topics, like what we're doing now. And then Facebook is mainly it's like family and business now. If
Yeah.
you Facebook is such a powerful tool. Like everybody like used to hate on it and shit on it. But I grew up with Facebook in college. I was one of the first users of it and everything. So when they started incorporating pictures and tagging, and now being able to like use the same network that I've had growing up or like going through like college and stuff is and be able to turn it into like a business and help the community out with my personal development knowledge and stuff. It's you know it's a powerful tool if, as long as you use it correctly, right?
Yep.
You know,
I
I
started
think it,
I started my social stuff with MySpace.
yeah, yeah. That I was learning MySpace. I was learning how to code from MySpace. That was like if anybody had a MySpace, they were kind of like doing basic coding and stuff. And what we're doing and stuff, it's like what I'm doing is like I think part of this podcast is to help people break out of the matrix a little bit and have a little bit of like different like meta type thinking, outside of like the regular day to day thinking. So I really wanted to bring you on a podcast and really uh pick your brain about that because you're definitely broke out of the matrix, and I don't know how long you've been out of the matrix or how like you made this spiritual, like what do you call it? Tell me, what do you call it? Because I have different terms of like I just say it's like spiritual enlightenment to don't sound too crazy,
My,
but like right,
my
you
journey.
can't sound too crazy.
Oh no, it's a journey. It's realistically it's a journey, trial and error, and then you have to learn. When you do learn this, you have to learn how to plug yourself back in at a minimum, and learn how to pull yourself back out at the same time. You have
Okay.
to be in the same mindset as someone breaking the matrix, but also know you have to plug back in for the connections and then pull back out for your spirit. If that makes any
Right. It does. It does. In my terms, I would call this the Bruce. I've used Bruce Lee as like a spiritual teacher for a long time, but he calls it the living void. It's where you're in both this state of consciousness and unconsciousness, and like you're in this spiritual realm, and then you have this regular physical realm that you're both in these realms and stuff, right? And you're getting experience from here, and you're trying to make sure that like you don't sound too fucking crazy when you start talking about spiritual stuff,
want to sound that.
but I think for me, like what I enjoy now is like reading books, connecting the dots, like with Dr. Joe Dispenza, some of the spiritual teachers, and I'm really big into like Billy Carson right now because he's really like helping put the code together or break the code. Um, but yeah, yeah. Tell me a little bit about like some of the what is the stuff that we you taught me, you know?
All right.
I don't even know the name of it.
All right. So basically, what we went over was the root chakra.
The
Um,
root chakra. Yeah.
so basically, It's basically an Indian. The way the technique comes from India. Let's just put it that way.
From
So
yoga, right?
it's the spinal column has a bunch of clusters up the spine. They're
Yep.
nerve clusters that go all the way from the tailbone all the way up to the back of the back of your neck, all the way up your spine. And when you meditate certain ways, you can activate certain chakras.
Yeah. Maybe
The root chakra is basically the chakra that's going to give you your boost of energy.
So this is the caduceus one, and you showed me a symbol like this, and I had no idea what it was until you taught me, and then when I was reading this book, I read this book like 2 or 3 times. So it's like what you're explaining is he's explaining the cerebral spinal fluid shooting up to the
Pineal gland.
pineal, yeah, pineal gland, which is the third eye, which is in Buddhism is that right, eye of Horus, and then this. I said it on one of my Instagram. I was like, it almost felt like, I like adult ejaculation, where I was just like, it felt crazy at the time. I was like, what the fuck was that
When
just happened,
when you do
right?
it, you kind of can't stop yourself from laughing. Like you almost get like a sense of security. Like, oh man, everything's gonna be just fine. Once you start to do it right, you just become at ease with yourself.
Yeah, and that's very powerful in a way where like it could help with people that are going through like mental health stuff. So I
Yeah.
know it's like basketball, I know it's bodybuilding that it could benefit, but one thing that I believe that it could really help in the healing is like like making this knowledge like, hey, it's not just me that did it. Sam does it, and it's more open that people are doing this type of practices and be able to explain it scientifically or not sound too crazy doing it and stuff. And it's also helping heal without having to take like prescription drugs or being addicted to these certain things. It's like for me when I made that breakthrough, I was like, yo, I gotta tell the fucking world about this shit. I gotta tell.
If you guys ever wanted a movie to reference, watch Doctor Strange from Marvel. The first Doctor Strange. It's when he goes
Yeah,
to Hermitage and he learns the chakra system. Now, what I'm saying is Doctor Strange. It's a dramatic way to put it. They escalated the third eye by 10. You can't do the things like bend time forward and backwards, but there's some things you can do with that third eye open.
yeah.
Strange would be the closest character in Marvel to get to that. If anybody wanted an idea on that character,
It's funny. It's funny that you talk about like Marvel and the multiverse. Like I've been studying more and more in like quantum physics and stuff, and that like even though I don't really like watching Marvel movies anymore, I felt like they just got like to after Infinity War. I was just like, what happened to this to this series? But I did learn about the multiverse in a couple of the movies, and it really like because the thing is like I watch movies a little bit different, and you probably watch movies in a different way than other people as well too. Is like you don't just watch movies like Deadpool. That's your character, right? What's that? Swords. All
yeah,
right.
I like my movies.
Yeah, I mean, so getting back to it, it's like the multiverse, and I learned something just recently, but it was reference to Marvel, the Tesseract, right? Billy Carson was talking about the Tesseract and the shapes and geometry and everything, and that I just made a discovery recently. I know about it. There's a difference between knowing about it. I think a lot of people that watch it and kind of like see what we're talking about, they know about it, but I don't think they have really experienced it, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So like the Tesseract for me was used as like a structure to kind of expand my consciousness while I was like meditating. Almost created like a whole universe that was like engulfed. That's where I'm at with like my meditation practice. My meditation practice just like leveled up recently,
Yeah. Well,
you know?
what happened with me when I finally unlocked, I feel like, well, like I say, I feel like I have got to as far as I can go because it's never went anywhere up, down, left, right. But when I would start driving, I could just start sensing numbers around me, and the numbers, whatever I'd sense, would be the time exactly what I was thinking. So
Yeah.
somehow I'm able to connect back into the ether system, whatever is going on out there. My brain's able to connect with certain things, and you can't turn it off. It's impossible.
Yeah. Yeah, once it happens, it happens, and you really can't look back. And
There's no looking back. It's done.
that what did it, that Doctor Strange part where the word was surrender to it?
I said
That was the key word for me. That was the key word that was like
you can't go back. There's no going back from it.
I
I,
started telling everybody that loves me, but I was like, yeah, I gave up that. I gave up that too, and I was like, and to be honest, like let's get serious. Like I think like when we were talking earlier about like going through like separation and divorce, I was having a tough time, and I started seeking a lot of like this type of healing practice. Like learning how to breathe, qigong, and meditate, and like learning how to manage energies and stuff. The stuff we talk about, like there's extra benefits out of there, but really it could save people's lives.
yeah,
Like
definitely.
it could save people's lives because I've been there and I felt like I've been like dying. But once I unlocked this, is like that never like happened again. You know what I'm saying? It's like so cool that I did it with like the help of and support of like other people. Of course, like, Dr. Joe Dispenza, you've helped me. I've had some coaches. I've watched a shit ton of video. It wasn't just like one person that specifically helped me, but there was these people that have helped me on the journey. And it's just so like compelling to me, like, hey, like we gotta talk about this. We gotta share this message, create this platform so we can.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, basically, I try my people. Well, can we talk about religion for a second?
Yeah, talk about it whatever you want. This is a matrix free podcast.
So with religion, like I just got tired of religion. Not. I guess religion as called religion. I got tired of like churches and stuff like that. But I still
Yeah.
believe in a good person like Jesus is following. But then I started following. I started watching and paying attention to messages from Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha, and I was like,
Yeah.
his Jesus's way of enlightenment was one way, basically total give everything off everything on your back, but the blood off your everything. The Buddha chose the middle path towards the end, where he wanted to be a good person but also take care of himself. I'm trying to balance that myself, so I try to follow the not really the Christian religion, but I try to. I don't. I call it omni religion. I believe in all religions. I don't judge anybody for their religion. So I just follow like Jesus and Buddha. And when I started meditating to Jesus and Buddha, that helped me unlock every chakra that I wanted to. And each one, what happened for me, what was amazing is when I did something amazing for somebody else, the night when I meditated on that, people in the Buddhist religion would call it the thousand petal lotus. I would see
Yeah.
that as clear as a bell every time I meditated. This picture would be a thousand petal flower right here in my face. I couldn't look away from it, and my eyes were completely shut, and I could see it. So
Yeah.
it's about doing good things. If you want to unlock human consciousness, you have to be a good person, or it'll eat you alive.
Yeah. I agree for sure, man. I think Christ, like during my studies, like religious studies and spiritual studies and stuff, Christ consciousness and Buddha consciousness, uh, and all the wise preachers and teachers, they're all the same. We're all speaking the same language. I think for me, from like my understanding and like the broad picture of everything, religion is what's created by the interpretation of the teachings, right? When you get really into the heart of the teachings, like by unlocking like the pineal gland and getting these senses and stuff, the wisdom hits you. You could see through the propaganda, you could see through the bullshit, and some of the stuff I could see through it now. Once I unlocked it, I was like, a lot of the stuff that religion teaches is like,
Take the
if it,
shades away. You take the glasses.
yeah, you unveil it right after you unlock this. You're like the illusion. This is the illusion. You know, I'm always saying the illusion starts with I, is the ego and stuff. All this shit's been kind of like uncovered in front of us, and once you remove it and stuff, you're like, oh, that's what religion is. That's what politics is. That is what hides all this. Like the real stuff that we're doing is unveiling it, right? And it makes it looks like that. I mean, we talk about the Matrix and stuff. We can talk about it as much as we can, but it's like the propaganda, like you, and we talk about having a good heart, is that when you cause fear and hate amongst your religious group or whatever it is to another group, that's religion, right? Spirituality is not that. To me, it's like when we talk about Jesus, we talk about Buddha, we talk about some other like wise philosophers. It's all about love. You know what I'm saying?
And
It's all about love, no matter what. No matter, like you probably got some shit done to you. I've got some shit done to me in these last 3 or 4 years that just would make me hate people, but I still love people.
I
You know
think
what I'm
I
saying?
think it's called the Dharma wheel. Is it the Dharma
The
wheel?
Dharma.
And so in the Buddhist, that's what they say, the Dharma wheel. You gotta watch out what you do out. What you put out is gonna come back and get you. You gotta watch. It's a karma and a Dharma wheel. If you do good karma wise, chances are good things are gonna come back to you. But the Dharma wheel is gonna bite you too, and that's what you gotta watch out for, the bad things you do.
Yeah.
It's just,
If somebody's like looking to kind of like get interested or kind of like, because for me, when I kind of started to realize like I was like this spiritual person and I started meditating, I was like, I didn't just start. It was kind of like you kind of meditate where you start your consciousness, or like when you kind of feel like you started connecting to the universe. I think I started. Remember the last time we met, you said that you always felt like you had a connection to the
I always
universe, correct?
I always felt it, but never knew how to actually do anything about it.
What was that change when it was when you unlocked the pineal gland? You were like, hey, this is
Locked
the
out
mission.
as my wife was leaving me. So I think a lot of it had to do with the pain I was going through that helped it amp up. And then when I would meditate, I would basically go to a sense of calmness, and I just didn't care if she left or not. So I don't know. Like I unlocked it all right as she was leaving, and so I basically was meditating every night. When I first unlocked the root chakra, I was up for 3 days straight. I didn't sleep for 3 days, and now my schedule is like 4 hours a day. I'm up at like 4 o'clock in the morning doing God
Yeah.
knows what, and I go to bed usually like 12 o'clock midnight, and then I try to make time for a regular life.
Yeah. Yeah, I know my schedule is not the same anymore. There's no like it's not the same. It's like work when I feel like working and then sleep. I've done it where I've worked like 2 weeks straight and then slept for like 5 days straight or meditated for 5 days straight. It's like my schedule is not the same because in when you unlock the pineal gland, like time is not relevant anymore. Like cycles kind of change. It's definitely a change. But something interesting that I discovered, I think I was telling my friend about it and like what happened. I was like, why am I like so energized? Like I have so much vitality. I think when I locked it with you, like I started body like I've always been bodybuilding, but my level of recovery was ridiculous. Like typically I would train like legs, like and my leg days would be pretty brutal, like pretty intense. Like and it would take me at least like a week to fully recover. I was recovering in like 2 days, 3 days. I wasn't taking any supplements, just probably like creatine and like water, not even protein shakes. But my recovery was like almost cut in half, and I was like, man, this is
Well, you gotta
insane.
look at it this way. Imagine back in the day, like the modern man now. It takes a longer time to recover because they don't have proper nutrients, stuff like that. But imagine back in like Spartan days, where these dudes were jacked completely to the core, exercise constantly. Like
Yeah,
they were outside in the sun. They didn't have like restraints of being inside all the time. Like you will unlock certain things just being outside more, being just letting the vitamin D hit your skin. what I would do is take like rocks and I would look at the sun and like let the rock like reflect through the light and hit you in the pineal gland. But I mean, there's a whole bunch of different things. If you want to grow to be like a super strong person, you just gotta have a proper diet and a mind frame that don't let you quit. And when
Yeah.
you unlock the chakra system, you're gonna have a mind that doesn't want to quit. You're gonna want to
Yeah.
go 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 go, and then sometimes you gotta remind yourself you're still a human being, and you gotta take the
Yeah.
time to rewind that a little bit.
Yeah, you can feel kind of like, I mean, the feeling like I've talked about it like the last time I did prep and like I unlocked the chakra. I felt like, I think the first shot of it is like you feel very superhuman. You're like superhuman abilities. And I think like if we have any women like listeners, I think in reference like when my wife had her baby, I think there's a same type of hormone or fluid that gets sent to like women when they have birth, and it gives them like this boost of energy. Because I've talked to my wife and some one of my other friends that had a baby, and she was like, it's almost the exact same feeling because it's in that general area, right? The fluid shoots up, and then you're like, because for my wife, I thought she would have been tired, but she was like cleaning and up and around. I was more tired because I wasn't sleeping regularly, but she was up and going, and I think it's very similar in like a root chakra, like when you awaken it or open it and stuff. I don't know if
I feel like at that point, when you have a baby inside of you, like you got to remember the chakra system's nothing but a bunch of nerve clusters up your spine. The baby could easily kick it. Some people accidentally unlock their chakras by hitting something hard or running into something or causing a big accident. You can even unlock chakras by like dramatic events. So if a woman has a baby in her belly and the baby kicks that certain spot a bunch of times, it might give her a boost of energy for because when you hit it, it's going to give you the energy not just for a day or two. It's going to last for a couple weeks. It's not just going to last
right.
a day or two.
It does die down though. I when I first had it, it was like, bro, like, and then died down. But it's I still have the energy and the vitality and stuff. Uh, I think when anybody that's out there that's kind of like struggling with like energy and stuff, it's like vitality. Like, I don't know if you coached anybody. I haven't really like coached anybody to unlock the chakras or anything. I know how to do it myself, but I don't know if you've ever experienced it, like how if somebody was like, I want to learn yoga, like this type of yoga, like this yoga that actually would be like useful.
Yeah.
Like, how would you like? Have you coached anybody?
If I were to
You
say,
coach me.
if I were to, if anybody were to get into the yoga, look up Raja. It's called Raja Yoga. It's an Indian form of yoga. It's the closest you're going to get to Sanskrit yoga and the Indian culture. It's Raja Yoga. They say
Yeah,
that like Jesus would practice yoga and then Buddha would practice yoga, but the guru that I follow, Sadi Guru, he does Raja Yoga.
sounds good. Yeah, yeah. I remember when we met, we watched the Sadhguru video. Was it about the Kundalini awakening?
The Kundalini, yeah, Kundalini and
So
Kundabali.
that's what it's called, right? When you send the cerebral spinal fluid up your spine, it's
You got
called the
two.
Kundalini. Like Sam taught me this shit, and I wasn't 100% sure. I was watching. I was like, okay, sounds good. He knows what he's doing. And then like Sadhguru was telling me in this podcast or whatever his speech is, he's saying this is like one of the most dangerous types of yoga. And I was like, whatever. And then I do it with
Eat
him.
too. That is it's dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I could tell you there's some force and power behind it. If you're not ready for it, you're like, and the honest truth, like when you said that you have to be physically, mentally, spiritually strong, I don't think you can unlock this until you're there, until you're ready.
Yeah.
Because I don't think like because there's a certain level of like pain that your body goes through during this whole transformation. Like I've been going through a lot of painful events, but I've been able to like manage it and like hold it together, but also see the benefits from it. But so you taught me the meditation, and I felt okay, or I felt, but it was like 2 days later. I was like, I felt something. I was like, there's something that's a little bit different. And then I did the meditation again that we did together, and then literally the next 2 days, like I don't know, my vibrations just shot out into the universe. My Kundalini like woke up, and I had like I felt like I wanted to hump everything. And then
People
I
are,
had like girls in my D, and like it sent like some crazy vibrate, like literally like phone calls, text messages from like girls that I was like, man, these are like tens that I didn't think I could date. But it was just like it was just happening. It was kind of surreal at the same time, you know?
yeah, that's the unfortunate side to unlocking the root chakra. That like when you unlock the root chakra, it's a you gotta like when you unlock anything as far as the Kundalini and Kundabuffa energy, you're gonna realize that the first chakra is gonna give you immense energy, but that immense energy is also going to be a sexual energy too. If you don't have a partner that's sexually ready for that, you might as well just be single because that, explaining that to some woman, like, trust me, it's not going to work. Like, you might
Yeah,
just, it's better off being single if you can't find a woman that's ready to deal with that type of energy. Let's just be honest about that.
yeah. I mean, that leads me to like another point. There's this concept. It's called sexual. It's weird. Like when I first read, I read that book, Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. There's a section, a chapter in the book called sexual transmutation, which is like weird. It in new terms, like now social media talks about it. It's when people do like semen retention and stuff. What whatever it is, right? Okay, so you unlock this kundalini and you keep the semen retention in, dude. Like that, like it has to be transformed to something, right? You do
Oh yeah,
basketball, you do something physical. That's the problem. Like, if you unlock it and you don't do anything physical, it's gonna like I don't know. I feel like it's gonna destroy you because I had to like
for you, it'll
I
just.
had to do something with that energy.
Oh yeah, you'll go crazy if you don't do something with it.
Yeah,
That's what it is. And the thing is, like when you go to bed at night, once you like know you've done it, your mind will think of every situation the next day, how you can make the next day like most as
like
successful
that.
as possible. Like how you
Yeah,
like I'll lay down and I'll lay down for like an hour. And what happens is I'll go into like a meditative state. I don't even feel like I'm asleep, and I'll wake up like completely aware, and I'll remember everything I dreamt about, and I'll go the next day and do it. And some people call that I think it's vivid dreaming. What is it? Lucid dreaming.
lucid
Lucid.
lucid dreaming. There's lucid dreaming. There's like astral projection, but I think astral projection is like meditating,
Yeah.
but
Well,
just
my
like
body's definitely here. My mind is just thinking of what I can physically see in my mind what I'm going to do and how it's going to work out the next day. And the next day when I get up and I do it exactly how I was supposed to do it, it works. It's
yeah.
wild.
That's a while. Like so, like there's like a like beginner level meditation, intermediate, and then there's like advanced level meditation. I think so. What you're describing, and I experience it as well too. Like when I meditate, is stuff you're always kind of like predicting the future. But when I made this like I guess when I became enlightened, uh, by unlocking the pineal gland, it's everything felt more like I was in that experience, right? Instead of actually like predicting it. So I became, and the shift was more like I will be rich, I will be handsome, I will be jacked and shredded, I will have a great girl. But then when I made the switch, it was like I am rich, I am handsome, I am sexy, or I am like a good, smart person or whatever, right? You actually become what you meditated, right? And then you bring it into it because you create like
You're sending the
Dr. Joe Dispenza.
the universe is what you're doing when you do that.
Yeah.
When you
That,
constantly
that
tell yourself you're worth it, you deserved it, you start convincing yourself that now you put the vibe out to the world that you're worth it.
yeah.
That's what happens.
I think it's we talk about like the vibrations and stuff. It's like you created that, and then when you feel like that is the experience, and then you actually become it. Like that's why we have to use like a philosophy and how to describe it and stuff. But like you actually become the experience in this universe or this realm here, which is like it's crazy, it's neat, it's interesting, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, is there anything like anything you've been learning new, or like you were planning to do with like your following, or what your
Um,
plans are?
my following, here's the thing, my following on like TikTok and stuff is mostly kids. So all
Hmm.
my stuff on TikTok, I have to be extremely PG-13. But
Yeah.
I have to watch out for restrictions. Like if you try to start anything on TikTok, you got to watch out for restrictions big time. And like if you have like my Deadpool cosplay, I had a Deadpool belt on, and it had
Yeah.
two plastic guns on the side, and I got a restriction for 6 days and kicked off TikTok for 6 days.
Oh no.
So when it comes to
What's
content creation, you got to watch out.
what how is politics tying to TikTok? Because I saw some stuff about like I don't
Never
follow politics.
down. I honestly think that was just a publicity thing. You got to look at it this way: they tell half the country they're going to shut down TikTok. They weren't going to shut it down completely, just in America. So what's going to happen? Half the Americans are going to download it just to see what's going on for the last few hours of TikTok, and then once they download it, the next day they didn't even get rid of it.
Oh, you thought it was just like a promotion thing?
Well, the thing is, they told everybody that they were going to keep TikTok, but the American content creators were going to not be allowed to content create on TikTok anymore. That's what they said. And then it came to the day of when they decided nothing changed. I don't know why they did it, but that's what they did on TikTok. They tried to say that American creators weren't going to be allowed to create on TikTok. So I don't know why they did it.
Hmm, interesting. Yeah, that's
Uh,
interesting.
I do know, as far as content goes, on Twitter, it's the slowest platform to grow on. Twitter, I have like almost 1,000 followers on Twitter, but it's extremely slow. Like two or three a day, like 2 or 3 followers a day. It's moving so slow on Twitter, but on YouTube, like YouTube, I feel like I don't even really pay attention to YouTube, and my YouTube does extremely good without even me even trying.
Yeah. Yeah, my strategy is not like to gate like to be honest, I really like I built my social media following through very organic, strategic throughout my whole career, or my whole like after I graduate college, because I would Facebook friends people, but I would like my rule was like I had to know them in person before I accepted them as a friend request. So it wasn't slow, but like everybody that's on my Facebook community, and they have about 1,800. It's not a lot, it's not like a big following, but there's a lot of engagement, and I actually know most like everyone. It's like sometimes when you build a following like quick, for me sometimes even on Instagram I built a following for a long time. I just been very consistent with like posting
Yeah.
for like years and years, and you could see the example is like it's been just very consistent, but it's just been very slow. But I think even building at a slow pace, or not even having to like blow up like virally, you could show that there's like legitimacy in what you do. you
All right.
know
One thing
that's what I really want to do.
Yeah. One thing I've learned with like Facebook and stuff like that, and it's sad to say this, but from the people that are around you the most on Facebook, your family and friends, I get more support from people that I'm meeting now than my family and friends that I used to know. That's
Yeah,
a sad truth. That's a sad truth.
it is true. I think I heard that. Did you tell me it was like when Jesus became enlightened or whatever? Like his family didn't even like. They were like whatever.
Yeah.
It's the same. Like my family, like whatever. He's just him.
Just because you become a better person, it doesn't change that you're still a person, but
You're still the same person.
able to sense certain things that other people can't. And that's just what, to me, that's what enlightenment means. Being able to know that people struggle in life, being able to be compassionate with their struggle, and try to see a way to help them get through that struggle.
Yeah.
What I try to do with what I do.
Yeah, man. I think that's a great message. I think helping people through the healing process is, for me, I think it's what we need more of, right? I think, to me, when I see how people interact with people, and even just most recently with somebody that's close friends to me, that's like a podcaster, and I felt like I got mistreated almost like recently. But I had to
Happen a
be the
lot.
big. Yeah, it happens a lot when you start pushing yourself out there, and people that, and to me, it's like I don't think people are doing like the real work
No.
of like healing their like heart. Like
What's
I,
happening nowadays, and if can say it is people when they see other people like you doing good, like you inspiring other people, they want to look at you and think, well, like what's wrong with them? You make them see their insecurities in themselves because you do such a good thing with the community and people, and you get out there and you do what you got to do to survive. Some people see that and it makes them feel insecure,
yeah,
and you can't
yeah,
that type of stuff. That people are gonna. When I first started sending like basketball videos, I would have guys like sending me like, "Why did you send this video out?" I'm like, "Bro, I send the video out to 100 people. Don't feel special because I send a video to someone you knew." But eventually, I got to the point where when I would go to the fair, people would walk up to me at the fair. I had no idea who they were. Oh man, you're the guy that does the basketball videos. When I went to Harper's Ferry, the KOA, I actually had a follower on TikTok at the KOA, and when I walked in, her and her brother looked at me like they saw a ghost. They stopped
really,
and took a picture of me, and at that moment to myself, like I wasn't there yet. Like I only had 1,000 followers on TikTok. The fact that someone had found me in the KOA in Harper's Ferry, knew who I wasn't even ready for that experience that this person knew who I was. I wasn't ready for
yeah,
that.
it's neat.
That
It's
was
definitely,
oh
yeah. It's definitely neat. It's an experience, you know. It's like I've been doing content for like 8 years now. I've seen a little bit of like when I first broke off and started doing personal development and everything. It's that feeling like there's people that's gonna hate. Like I always talk about it. It's like that don't really understand your vision or what you're doing and stuff. So it's like anybody that's like watching this podcast and just kind of like trying to like push outside of like something, the comfort zone, you know, put themselves out there a little bit, there is gonna be that is the work, you know. The when you separate a little bit, there's gonna be those people that like you grew up with in high school, in your grade school, that you used to drink with or like hang out with, and when you start to change and they don't change, they look at you as like, and like what you're saying, it irritates them. It shows a lot of their own insecurities that they didn't work at. And what I'm saying, like when somebody blew up on me, I was like, you know, like my podcast, if you really look at the message, okay, it might, because I have Eastern, Western type of philosophies and stuff, I could go back and forth. If somebody listened to only just specifically my Western type of philosophy.
philosophy and throw it out the window. Stick to the Eastern philosophy.
I
Uh,
gotta have a little Western philosophy, like Stoicism. I use a lot of Stoicism, but like if I use Eastern philosophy, I'd just be meditating all day and not get anything done. So
and you
you
would
have
be
to have a little.
might not get anything done, but you're going to stay in a constant state of bliss.
Yeah, you're right. But I like a little bliss and I like a little pain, right? So figure like that's the void that we're talking about. I like a little pain. I like a little bliss.
You're a sucker for pain.
No, I mean you see the tats, you see the bodybuilding and stuff. It's like that is painful.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
all that shit, like meditating is
You're a
painful,
big
and
guy. You're strong. You're strong. I see your form. Like when I look at your videos and clips of your stuff, you're strong. You're jacked.
I've
You're
been it
me. I
that's
got
part for me that's part of my practice. Like I didn't realize like bodybuilding when I studied Bruce Lee, like he's been studying kung fu, but I've been studying or been doing bodybuilding. But when I look back at it, bodybuilding for me was the art of manifestation, and how I relate to it is like everything started here. Didn't know about the mind, but I did visualize like what I wanted to look and how I look the way I look now because I've always used like superheroes. Like you know that I'm big on Dragon Ball and like, I have some like Broly here, you know.
yeah.
Like try
Can
like
I do a
trying to
Dragon
build
Ball flex for you real quick?
what's that?
Can I do a Dragon Ball flex for you real quick?
Yeah, yeah. We
I'm
could talk
about,
a little bit of Dragon
about to
Ball.
show you my Goku box. I got signed by Sean Schemmel.
Who?
Hold on.
Who's Shan Shamo?
Oh, all right. Here we go.
What you got? Oh, nice. What is that? I can't see it. It's kind of blurry.
It's a Goku, but it's a Goku Black, and it's
Uh-huh.
signed by the voice actor of Goku.
Oh, nice. The
Yeah,
actor.
yeah, voice actor Sean.
Okay.
We saw him at a Comic Con,
Oh, nice.
and we got that, and we got
Oh,
Piccolo. We got Christopher Sabat's signature too.
nice.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
like our stuff like that. You got to stay
I
happy.
think
Like I feel like what you got to do to be successful is make sure you do things that make you happy. If if
there's a
if,
big.
if collecting Dragon Ball stuff makes you happy, do it. If collecting comics, if you look in front of me right now, I have 1967 Superman comics. I have 1967 Batman. I have 1940 Batman comics, all right here in this game room. You got to do things that make you happy with life, or you're going to do everything miserably and you're never going to do anything the way you want to do it. Because if you don't do things you want to do, you're going to rush through doing everything.
Yeah. And then you really just like you kind of just exist instead of actually like live. Like right now, like I mean, I've always like lived. I always lived good, even when I was going through a lot of like. I mean, most people don't know. Like I've been bodybuilding for since like 14 or 15 years old. I'm 38 now, but it's like I've always been consistently in pain. Always, in pain, right? To make muscles, you're always in pain. So it became normal, right? After doing it for so long and actually like changing and reprogramming my mind after like 38 years and doing it for so long, it compounds where I feel like I'm not bragging or anything, but it's like the amount of time or long time that I did it and stuff has compounded over the years, and now people are starting to see that the bodybuilding, the meditation, that practice, practice of mastery, can benefit everything. It's like making more money, being happier, being fulfilled. It's a real thing. It's like a real practice, but I think it's not like when we talk about like the Eastern practice and stuff, trying to bring that here more to the Western side, that the side of fulfillment, the side of being like genuinely happy. I don't think majority like when uh Joe Dispenza has the vibrational chart. It's like 100% of it, 70% of it is low vibration. There's only like a 30% or like 10% of people that are like in that high vibrational, like low bracket and stuff.
Here's the thing: if you wake up in the morning and you feel your low vibrations off, you gotta fix that before you start. You
Yeah,
gotta because the thing is, you walk out into the world in a low vibration, you're gonna feel negative, and everything you do, you're gonna feel like you don't even want to do it. You gotta
yeah,
get whether you're a coffee drinker or a cigarette smoker, or if you smoke cannabis, or if you're a medical patient, or whatever you got to do to get yourself physically prepared and out of that state of mind. If you want to be successful that day, you got to bring yourself out of a negative state of mind before you can actually go out into the world and do anything positive. That
yeah. I think as adults, that is our job responsibility to make sure that we are healthy, functionable at a like of course we can't be at this highest vibrational state all the time, but it is like to me is like the message is clear. You as an adult, that is your job. As with making money, as with staying healthy, there's no more excuse about like, hey, nah, like
if
I just don't
you
feel
go
like
to
it.
you go to a gym and you're walking around the gym as a customer and you see one fitness instructor super high energy training this and then you see the other one sitting on the chair, which instructor are you going to pick?
You're gonna pick the high vibe one. You're gonna pick the high vibrational one. That's and
That's
and,
how
and
you
that's clear.
will, like a magnet. A high vibrational person is like a magnet. They're gonna bring people. Like if you're really good at basketball and you're on the court and you're a high vibrational character, the other good players are gonna see you and they're gonna come to you. If you're good at content creation and like other content creators are gonna come to you because you're on the same vibration as they are.
Yeah,
Bodybuilding. I know with a lot of bodybuilders, like they become like bros because they get on the same vibration as bodybuilding, and they help each other, basically help each other grow.
elevate. Like it's like it, and that's really big about like who you keep within like your network and stuff, because vibrations are real. And when I talk about like the vibrational chart and having like friends, like if you want to like change yourself, it's a lot of your environment, the people that you surround yourself with. And I'm saying it so much is like comfort is an illusion, right? It's so
Okay.
easy to hang out with the same people that you see is familiar. You complain about the same thing, they understand your problems. But if you continue to do it and stuff, those habits, those patterns and stuff will get instilled in you, and then won't it makes you harder to kind of step out and really actually, Bruce Lee calls it self-actualization, like actualizing, being a real human.
Yeah, yeah. Well, people, uh, what I say with comfort and stuff like that, it's all about perception. Like you could be comfortable with life just because you woke up and had a cup of coffee and now you're happy, you're alive and breathing. Your perception on life is you're happy just to be alive and breathing. So if you're the type of person that wakes up and I need to make $1 million a day or I'm not going to be happy, you're going to go to sleep miserable. You got to
Yeah,
realize you got no matter what, you got to wake up and you still got to make that happen. Like manifestation is about seeing the vision and then putting it into play.
yeah, the act. But the thing I think with the how and then we'll wrap up, but when we were talking about the meditation earlier, about the energy and the vitality, I think that little boost or whatever that you unlock helps you with the action between the thought, right? When you start to manifest, when you start, this idea starts to come to life in your mind. And then when you're meditating, right, unlocking the chakras, like the energy flows are coming through your body and stuff. And when you get out of it, it is your responsibility to put what you have just worked in your mind and put it into practice. And the action towards it, the action towards it is the act. That is like going to the gym, that is going to practice shooting the hoops, doing the drills and stuff. The act of it is where people fuck up.
Oh, yeah. If you were to like follow, I'm big on if you follow influencers. I follow Kobe Bryant just because of his mentality. His
Yeah,
mentality was repetitive, repetitive, repetitive. Get on the court. So Kobe Bryant would go in his practices, shoot the most basic shots in the entire game, like the most basic shots, because he wanted to get comfortable hitting those basic shots because he knew he could hit the long distance shots.
yeah,
So he hit the comfortable shots, and then when he would come play, the man would dominate. So consistency as far as growing in bodybuilding, if you want to be better at playing sports, baseball, football, you have to be consistent at it. If you want to be a better writer, you have to write consistently. If you want to be a better gamer, you have to game consistently. If you want something in life, you got to be prepared to give that consistency, or you're just wasting your time. If you start a dream and just quit midway, you've wasted all of it. So consistency
yeah.
for me is everything.
But see, the big pain that might come is like if you dreamt something, if you manifested a vision or put it in your journal or create like a vision board or something. I think it's more painful. Like, okay, so I put the pain on myself that I willingly go to the gym and study and meditate, right? That's painful. But the pain that if you created a vision and then you didn't do the manifestation or you didn't start doing that, I think there's another pain. And we talk about that like in Buddhism is like there's another type of pain that's gonna come, right? I don't know, like it's like if you have
Right.
that same type of philosophy, but it's like it's either pain in this way or pain in that way, right? I rather, like, for me is like I understand how pain and suffering works. That's why I choose to put myself in pain and suffering so I could manage it
Exactly.
I need to manage it
I think
properly,
it was, if I'm not mistaken, it was Jet Li. If I'm not mistaken, he had a saying that if you want to succeed in life, you must make your life hard now so it doesn't have to be hard when you become older. You have to
Yeah,
endure everything now and take it like to the chest. Endure it now while you can endure it. But when you get to the age to be able to enjoy it, you'll be able to enjoy it because of what you've been through and your challenges that you've been through.
yeah, man. I mean, we talking some wisdom today. Yeah,
How I like to talk.
yeah, yeah. Okay, man, it's getting late and we're getting close to the end of our podcast and stuff. But I just wanted to, I really enjoyed catching up with you and just trying to inspire and motivate people through our platforms and stuff. And this was I don't know when was the last time we caught up. Well, I think it was like 3 months, but I'm glad to have caught up with you or met up with you and have you be a part of my I would say it's a spiritual journey now. I think the spiritual journey, how I would describe it, is when you get on this journey, you start to move at your own pace, but there's other people that are on their journey as well too that can support, that can assist, that can give you that little boost of extra vibration or extra positivity or inspiration. Inspiration is a big part of what the podcast is about. It's about talking about trying to improve our lives, trying to improve and create a vision that I think is beneficial for everyone. Raising vibrations and helping heal the world. I think that's the message. If there's a message that you want to say before we leave the podcast, so the podcast, I'm the sole host on it, and I invite people on to the show to spread their message of positivity and people that are really doing work, not the folks that are just saying that they're doing positive stuff.
Oh
The
yeah.
stuff that
Yeah.
there's a couple people out there, and we're not calling anybody out, but we're bringing people that are doing real work.
My only message is if if you're out there and you see an opportunity to do something good and you know you can do it. But also do it from a place of mindfulness that if it's gonna put yourself in a struggle, you gotta also look at life like you gotta be like in a circle. Everything has to come back around. So you can't give from something that you don't have. So if you see someone out there that needs a little bit of help, try to give them a little bit of help. If you see a kid on the in the park that needs a basketball and you have an extra ball, give it to them. There's things out there that I feel like us as a human race we're failing to do to help the next generation become a better generation, because I feel like the next generation is starting to fail and it's not even their fault anymore. It's
Yeah,
just the situation that's getting handed down to them, and if they're not more aware, then it's just bad things are going to happen. So just be more aware of people and be kinder. That's my only message.
absolutely, man. I love it. I think I share in that message of just giving those little trinkle bit. It doesn't have to be monetary. I do it because I have the means to do it. I have the means to give time. I have the means to do what I do. But for me, and my mission is to get more of it, so I could get more of it. When I really think and meditate about like why I do the stuff, and really get down to the deep heart of everything, is like if I had the if I was the same person, if I had 2 million, $3 million in the bank, I would do the exact same shit, just on a different scale. You know what I'm saying? On a different scale. Probably be out of this apartment though.
Gotta do what you gotta do until you get where you gotta get. That's what you gotta do. Hey, I
Yeah.
have a beat up Toyota Tacoma outside, and people are always like, "Why are you driving that beat up old truck?" That's all I can afford right now. I'm sorry.
I mean, at the end of the day, this is more important than to me. It's like a material. Like I've had a home. I don't know if I want a home again, but the material stuff. Like after you unlock the pineal and make this enlightenment, is like that the material stuff doesn't really like matter at
Don't matter
all.
at all anymore.
It doesn't matter at all. Is your mission is, or the gift, the service back to your community and stuff is really what really matters. I think
And make sure whatever messages you put out there are positive, because you don't know
positive.
who's listening. If like on my TikTok, and I hate that, but on my TikTok, like I get approached by kids that are picked on constantly about being transgender or gay. You don't know, like when you're going live and talking to people, who's actually listening. So be
Yeah,
mindful of what you say at all times, because everybody's going through a struggle and nobody's perfect. That's my best message.
it's hard. I have to work on it too sometimes. Like when I go work out and like DMT and testosterone is it's kind of aggressive. Like when you unlock the pineal, you got DMT and you got testosterone and stuff. It's like you could really become a like, but that's that balance, which is it's
You
interesting.
become
But
a monster with that balance.
you have to be very mindful of it. That's the thing where there's all these challenges and stuff, but at the end of the day, I think we're all helping each other and like inspire each other. And your message, I love it, brother. We're gonna wrap up the podcast, and I love your message. Keep up the good work in the community and stuff. If you need any boosts or anything, let me know. I'm gonna put this podcast out. I want you to share this, and especially with these kids that are getting bullied and stuff. I'm gonna tell us like a quick story before we head off. Like I don't like bullying, like at all. I've been bullied. I've chose not to bully people, and I could have bullied people, right? Just the way like I've challenged myself and
You
like
will never become enlightened if you're a bully, because you just you won't ever be able to you won't ever have compassion for other people. You might be
yeah,
able to, like, be an arrogant person, but to be enlightened you have to learn compassion. So go.
yeah. I mean, I could have been arrogant. I try not to be arrogant anymore, but that I mean that's all a work in progress, man. I'm proud of you, and best of luck. Or are you do you need to put anything out in the universe, like uh, anything that like you want to happen? Put it out there before we head
Now,
out.
what I want to happen is I want in 10 years to be in my house by the river where I can fish and ride four-wheelers and have a
Nice,
simple life. That's my eventual plan. I want to
nice.
be out of the city of Williamsport, and because I have a support groups on like TikTok. I have different support groups. Eventually, I want to get out of Williamsport, Maryland, and go to the country area.
Yeah. I think that's what happens when you get like in line. You're like, you fuck everybody.
I tell you, I will say this: the amount of female attention does go up quite a bit.
It does, and but when you start talking conspiracy theories and like spiritual stuff, like that gets the antennas for the ladies and stuff. But same. What I want to put out there is financial freedom for me. I see it. It's close. It's within my cusp, and then I want to find that soulmate, the one that's gonna help me find me. I think there's that extra part that in spirituality there's the law of gender polarity and stuff to really complete like what we're doing, right? The message and
Like
mission. We need
like the
that.
yin yang, you want to find somebody that brings you a little more balance. Trust, yeah, it's it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The dating world. I mean, I have more options than
Do you
I've
mean
had.
do you mean the cesspool out there? There's a dating world, but it's a cesspool. It's a too many.
Hey, hey,
You have almost.
hey. Let's keep it positive here. You're in the wrong swimming pool. My swimming pool. My swimming pool is cool.
I'm from West Virginia. My swimming pool is a little muddy sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. My swimming pool is clean. Okay, brother. I appreciate the conversation, the guests and the podcast and everything, but we'll be in touch, okay? All
All
right,
right.
man.
Good night.
All right, guys. Thank you for watching.
All right. Later.